Hey YouTube, it's ShryphonX here. Today we're going to be talking about One Piece Chapter 1159. Like and subscribe for more content. Fated Brothers in Tragedy. Is Shanks also a D-Clan member? One Piece Chapter 1159, full spoilers. Sharing the same fate in God Valley, Blackbeard and red-haired Shanks are tied together, but what if their ties even reach blood? As part of the same Davy and D-Clan. In the previous One Piece chapter, Rock's and Harald's bizarre friendship ends, and we see Shamrock and Shanks' origins in God Valley. One Piece Chapter 1159 is titled The Fateful Island. This chapter has 17 pages. We enter Volume 41 of the Oni Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, as Yamato now returns to the Flower Capital, with Yamato, Ultai, and Page 1 eating apples as they walk. Ochika the Rock's pirate trader as much rain falls upon Hakanosu. We get narration of Shaki being kidnapped and Don Marlin being killed. Now we have the revelation of who the traitor among the Rock's pirates is, Ochiku. However, no one has any idea how it could have happened. Ochika's story looks more detailed thanks to this chapter. A conniving mastermind, Ochiko plotted to usurp control of the Rock's pirates and make a bigger profit by kidnapping Shaki. However, no one on Hakanosu knew how this happened. Ochiko must have been quite powerful to catch a strong former pirate empress and a fellow Rock's pirate off guard like this. Don Marlin might also be Capone Beach's father, considering their similar backgrounds and origins. However, the one to avenge Rock's betrayal was Blackbeard by retaking his father's old base and usurping Ochiku, who had taken over the island. If Ochiku is Caribou's father, it means he, like Blackbeard, infiltrated a Yonko crew to avenge his own father. However, this plot will likely evaporate and be forgotten in the annals of history. Either way, we have our confirmed traitor, and the impact of Shaki's kidnapping sent shockwaves to the whole world economy, such that it paused for several weeks. Oda must be overestimating the power of celebrity here. Yes, celebrities create perception in the masses, but for Shaki to halt economic activity sounds insane. Not even Boa Hancock could do that, but then again, she seems more isolated than Shaki, who was in the idle era of piracy. Ochika looked excited from the news. Perhaps the chaos is what we wanted, on top of the expected response of the Rock's pirates. Gloriosa is weeping in sadness and despair because Shaki was her friend. Roger destroyed the newspaper, and Rayleigh was very worried about Shaki. Roger holds Zebek responsible for letting this happen and preparing to march for God Valley to save Shaki and kill Zebek. Finally, we have arrived at the time of the God Valley incident. God Valley incident. Preparation 38 years ago, a year after Shaki's kidnapping. Figureland Garling returned to God Valley. We see the red-haired woman, but not her face, and she introduces him to Shamrock and Shanks. Garling was surprised to see they are twins and said they are adorable. The red-haired woman asked Garling to live with her on the island, but he said he will not stay with her because God Valley will disappear soon. It seems that the ultimate plan is to make God Valley vanish due to what Garling has discovered, and that such a discovery must not be known to the public. Then Garling pulled out his sword and stabbed the woman. At the same time, we can see a lot of marine battleships arriving on the island. While the red-haired woman fell to the ground seriously injured, Garling said a wife that is befitting of his status has already been decided, such that Garling had placed the order for her to be captured, and she will be his wife if he wins the tournament, and based on his skills and confidence, he knows he can secure his win. It seems that Ochiku was the one who responded to this order, that or a middleman from Cypherpole who retrieved Shaki. Dragon's radicalization begins. The citizens of God Valley try to leave the island, but the Marines stop them, even shooting the people. Daily reminder that the Marines, as an organization, are fully aware and accepting of the Celestial Dragon's practices of slavery and genocide, the O'Hara incident much later being the most famous example of the latter, justified by the danger of ancient weapons. God Valley could have been justified the same way, with the massive resources of God Valley and their knowledge of things being seen as a threat to order, but here we see genocide happening in broad daylight, as citizens are forced to stay in their kingdom like it was a pen. We meet a much younger Monkey D. Dragon, simply a Marine officer at age 17, the same age as when his future son Luffy would start his journey to become Pirate King. Rather than shooting people with bullets, he uses tranquilizers, and Dragon asks what the purpose of this mission was, but his superior officer refuses to answer him and shouts at him to follow orders. This Dragon was raised under Garp's personal justice, and now he was seeing how wrong the organization is. Still, even if Garp always knew how scummy the Celestial Dragons are, why does he stay? One incident was enough to radicalize Dragon and Fujitora much later, but O'Hara saw God Valley and O'Hara, and he already knew the cruelty of his government superiors before all of that. Garp sees the Marines as the sole legitimate authority to save the people from anarchic pirates and government corruption, yet the government that the Marines answer to has no real mechanisms for accountability, with kings just being kings in name and Marines as justice only in name. We cut to a Marine slave ship that was heading to God Valley, ridden by Ginny, who leaked the information about the tournament prizes to the outside world. We see Ginny leaking information about tournament prizes to the outside. Ivankov was angry with the other slaves because they lost their fighting spirit. Kuma was in another part of the ship, but he listened all and smiled, thinking how energetic are some slaves. We cut to a Cypherpole Information Department facility in an unknown island, where a very young 15-year-old Morgans arrived, saying he has incredible information. Morgans was dressed the same as in the present, but he wore a beret on his bird head instead of top hat. Morgans wanted Cypherpole to pay him a bribe to not publish the information. Like in the present, Cypherpole agents threatened to erase him, but Morgans told them to try it if they had enough courage. So Morgans succeeds in leaking the information to Hakenosu, which allowed them to learn that Shaki was the big prize of the native hunting tournament in God Valley, motivated the Rocks pirates and all Hakenosu pirates to head for God Valley. Linlin is interested in the other prize, as she wants to acquire the good devil fruits for her children, even suggesting for Kaido that he can find his own devil fruit here. This must be the origin of the devil fruits of everyone from Perispero to the triplets with Katakuri. Rocks, Roger and Garp make their respective moves towards God Valley. While heading for God Valley, Rocks is blocked by Herald ships sent by the world government. A nearby world government ship is there to ensure Herald follows orders. Zebek, however, asks Herald if the two could have a drink. This could possibly be the last drink they exchange. Here, Zebek shares a secret, one that none of his crew knew. Far from prying ears, Zebek reveals his secret. His name is Davy D. Zebek. He is a descendant of Davy D. Jones. His clan, the Davy clan, has been hunted down by the world government, aiming to wipe them out, but it seems that their ancestor, Davy D. Jones, likely helped the clan survive in the underworld. He is unsure if this is a good thing or not, but he now has a child, and to protect his wife and child, he sent them away to God Valley and told them to rely on the Davy clan. This says a lot of things. In one chapter, we see two fathers driving their wives away, but for different reasons. Garling killed his wife to hide the stain that created his prizes, his sons. Meanwhile, Zebek drove his wife and son away so they could stay safe from his dangerous life, not realizing they are in even greater danger in God Valley because of the Celestial Dragons. We also see that the Davy clan is quite prominent in God Valley. While it is not known how connected the clan is to God Valley royalty, they have been hiding well in this land. Considering the world government has not annexed this territory in centuries, it means that the Davy clan prospered precisely here. Still, why is such a land called God Valley? Where are they hiding besides this mysterious family? Essentially, Xebec is asking Harald to join him in the fight to save his wife and child. This moment is similar to Roger's last moments when he entrusted Ace to Garp. One's greatest rival could actually be the closest to a friend they can trust. Harald was Xebec's actual friend, but since the last chapter where Harald tried to kill him, that friendship soured. However, Harald refuses to join Xebec and they fight again. Only this time, Harald allows Xebec to cause damage and get away before he is captured. The God Valley incident begins. We end the chapter with a double page on the day of the God Valley incident, showing us the rare devil fruits being made as prizes for the tournament, like in Kuma's flashback, but also the reveal of the biggest prize of all, Shaki, who wore a Kuja costume and looked clean and healthy because the celestial dragon forces took care of her in captivity. The Master of Ceremonies explains who the Kuja Empress is, and that the winner of the native hunting tournament would decide if they will make her their wife or slave. We see Garling, young Summers, and Gunko, who has long hair and wears a more military outfit, among the gods' knights. It seems Gunko now has 3 attires, a nun-like servant of Imu, likely due to her status as Imu's vessel over 56 years ago, a regular member of the Manmeyer family 38 years ago, serving among gods' knights. Interesting how Gunko seemingly appears as Shamrock's subordinate in her first appearance, yet she is much, much older than he is. The girl with a beret and a rifle from Manmeyer family that we saw in Kuma's flashback was next to Gunko. The Shepherd family members tell Summers to win Shaki for the family, but Summers insists that the woman will be his personal slave. Garling insists that he will win and make Shaki his wife. The Manmeyer woman from Chapter 1096, Kamachi, tells Gunko to secure a trophy for the tournament. Imu is clearly watching this incident with interest, not just through St. Jagersia Saturn, but also through their known vessel, St. Manmeyer Gunko. Can Dragon rescue Shanks and Shamrock? We then cut to Dragon, who discovered the wounded red-haired woman inside her house after following a trail of blood. In her dying breath, the woman begs Dragon to take the children away from the island, far away from Garling. Dragon does not know he is about to clash with the Supreme Commander of the Holy Knights, who are far beyond his pay grade, far beyond the Marines and Cypherpaul. With this encounter, we now have context for Dragon's words to Bartholomew Kuma in Chapter 1101, to Bonnie, that a child is a parent's weak spot. Because he saw what happened to a woman protecting her children, Dragon has distanced himself from Luffy out of love. While we do not know what happened to his still unrevealed mother, which is still likely Pirate Empress Tritoma, we do know that she has not been seen ever since, with Luffy left to the bandits as a child alongside his adopted brother Ace. If Dragon rescued Shanks, how was he unable to save Shamrock? Did he actually fight Garling for Shanks' sake? Are the Davy clan a different race? We also see Kid Teach and his mother handcuffed in a cage as the woman assures her child that everything will be all right. The chapter ends with the last big announcement to all celestial dragons from the Master of Ceremonies, who notes that world nobles actually know about the Davy clan. Since Kuma and the Buccaneers are mentioned together with the Davy clan, it might mean that the Davy clan might also be a different race. This could explain Blackbeard's unique body, having the ability to consume 2 devil fruits at once without dying. Also, something some may miss is that he might have consumed or added Whitebeard's heart to his own as a means to secure his devil fruit. Davy Jones may be an older myth, but Oda could also be referencing the character from Pirates of the Caribbean, who is part octopus due to Calypso's curse. Octopi have 3 hearts. Blackbeard's Jolly Roger has 3 heads. Now it all adds up. Rocks may share this unique biology and have multiple devil fruits, but it is also possible that Shanks and Shamrock might share similar bodies as well. Shanks and Shamrock are children of Garling, a celestial dragon of the Figureland family, and a red-haired woman who lives in God Valley, which happens to be Xebec's homeland. Marshall D. Teach does not have any red hair, but we also do not see his mother's head. Does Zebek himself have any red hair, or is the red hair just a trait of a different family? Either way, we will find out soon what exactly the Davy clan is. Is Shanks a D2? So far, the Trafalgar, Portgas, Nefelturi, Monkey, and Davy clans are holders of the Will of D. We also have giants like Saul, but otherwise, none are unique except for the Davy clan. Yet Shanks does not bear a D initial. Even then, could this be why Gabon called Shanks a child of fate in Chapter 1152, Terrible Day? Not just his role in God Valley and being found by Roger, but his double origins. It is one thing for Shanks to cry upon learning of his celestial dragon blood, but another for him to learn that his mother could have been killed by his father, that his homeland was erased and wiped out by his father's class. This tragic knowledge is quite a burden for a young man to have, along with Roger's dying state being known too late. This explains why he and Blackbeard clashed, why Blackbeard left a scar. A mark of Shanks' stained lineage, perhaps by coincidence, but also a reminder of the danger represented by Teach, a child sired by revenge after the destruction of his home by Shanks' kind. We might see their battle conclude in a bloody manner, with one dying and the other walking away the winner, to bury God Valley fully in memoriam. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more content. ShryphonX out.